Hello, everyone. Welcome back again. We're back after a week off, I think. So, obviously today marks Mason's last stream for quite a bit. So, obviously we'll get into that at the end of the stream. But this is his last stream for a while. So let's make the most of it, lads. Let's make the most of it. So we are going to be talking about Fulham 0, Arsenal 3 today, with 5 points clear again at the top of the Premier League. Above Manchester City, another step towards the Premier League title, maybe. So we will add guests now, and we'll get the people in. We'll start off with Ollie, mate. How are you doing?
Yo, big up. Obviously, yeah, we've got to make this a good stream because MK's last one for hospital. So, yeah, big up, guys.
I'll be back. Don't worry, Spurs
five
fans. I
points
will
clear
be
City.
back.
5 points clear City, but another thing, 16 points above Man United, so they can shut up about the title race. If they think they're in the title race, then they're just dumb. But good to be top of the league, obviously, and good win for us. Europa League focus now. We've got to focus on Sporting, and then obviously Crystal Palace. If we do beat Crystal Palace, we go 8 points clear for a while because Man City have to play in the FA Cup, so they miss a game on the game week. So we could go 8 points clear for a few days or weeks. Be interesting, but no, good win. We'll obviously get into it, but yeah, big up.
Yeah, we've also got Manny in the back room. How are you doing, Manny? Hope you're all right.
Yeah, all good. I mean, I'm starting to reap the rewards of a recently started gym program, and it's
Manny?
You all right?
He's frozen.
Gym. I don't think
You're
YouTube likes the word gym.
No, I think.
yeah. All right, so let me say fitness center, and my internet has been subject to a lot of wonky issues for quite some time now, so this is no different. I do apologize, but some of you will know that I recently just started a gym program after, God knows, about 3 years, I think. I've always thought myself as a bit of a fit bloke, but when it comes to doing all of these exercises, you got to start from the beginning and sort of learn how the muscles in your mind work. And then once you do that, everything becomes second nature. As I said in my Instagram post, do not overlift because you're not going to hit your personal best once you get back. You got to learn how to ride the bike, and then you can start riding, and then think of maybe you're doing a race.
Yeah,
indeed.
So obviously we will get into the stream now. Hey, big up both. Hang on, what?
big up Ryan. Big up.
Big up both,
Ryan.
big up to the panel. Yeah, big up yourself, Ryan, of course, as always. Obviously, make sure to like and comment, and subscribe if you're new. So yeah, obviously, we will get into the result. I just need to make the banner because I've come extremely unprepared today. So
yeah, with Fulham, I think a lot of Chelsea. I think a lot of people are going to actually think that we're going to slip up. I think a lot of rival fans were saying that we were going to drop points, even if it was just 2 points dropped. A lot. But the boys have proved it again. You know what I mean? The boys have proved it again, lads. 11 games to go. I'm starting to feel hopeful. I'm starting to feel very hopeful. These next, hopefully, by the time I get out of hospital, we'll still be top of the league. Fingers crossed. And we'll be in the Europa League quarterfinals. Hopefully. But yeah, man. I feel more confident. I don't know about you three, but I feel more confident after watching our bounce back from losing against City, from losing against Everton, and seeing the way we've bounced back from dropping points, etc., and then from playing midweek against the Portuguese side, so going away there, and then coming again, and then going to Craven Cottage and absolutely blowing them out of water. We absolutely smashed it. I think it could have been 5-6, or we could have been laughing at United fans with Liverpool and saying 7-up. But it just proved that we have turned corners. I think this is such a different team. And I see rival fans. I was on a couple of lives last night. Big up Ollie because I was on his live as well. But this was actually after. And I think, I can't remember the guy's name. He's a Man United fan. But he was saying, oh, you Arsenal fans. Huh?
David?
No. I would have said if it was David. No. Oh, I think his Instagram at is won't stop, can't stop or something. Can't stop,
Won't stop, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, can't stop.
Yeah. United fan. Yeah. So I was with him and one of his donnies who's United fan, right? And they were saying, "Oh, you're getting way too ahead of yourself." No. We have had a lot of hurt being Arsenal fans. Yeah. And I think another thing that he was saying is that we're not experienced with like the pain. So what? And this is the one thing me and a fellow Gooner said in this live as well. Big up him. We literally sat him down. We literally turned around to him and said, "Look, what was last season? If last season weren't these players gaining the bloody experience, just because we've got a young squad, Saka, 21, was carrying us last year. Let's be real. He was carrying us. He's been carrying us for a while. Smith Rowe as well was in and around there, and I think it affected the players more than we first thought as fans last season. I think it really definitely affected them bottling top four like that. And they've pulled it out this year. They've absolutely bagged top four now. And now we've got even bigger like goals, which is to fight for the title, and Europa League. I would love both. But getting a Premier League after all the chat from United fans, all the chat from Chelsea fans, all the chat from City fans. I can't really see you lot. No offense. I'm sure there's a few of you popping around, but after all the chat that's been happening, if we now win the title, oh my God, there's United fans who were saying, these guys on last night on live here were saying that they're United fans, right? They would rather we win the league than Man City. Than that, I think they've won it 4 years in a row, which is beating. 2. I think it's going to beat United's record or something.
No, they've won it 2 in a row, and they're going to make it 3 if they win.
Yeah. So they'll make it 3 in a row, and it's joint or something. Yeah. I can't remember.
Well, I think
they're more worried. They're more worried about Arsenal than their noisy neighbours who are noisier than them. It don't make it's fantastic to see, because I'm sure Manny will know when Arsenal used to dominate, etc. And we had these rivalries with Manchester United, and they were giving it to us, we were giving it to them. Now we're giving it to them, but they can't give it back at the moment. And don't get me wrong, Ten Hag's a great manager, but I don't see United giving it back at the moment. Yeah, they got humbled. We've been humbled, but I don't think as a collective, Arsenal fans, there's a few who's going over the top of that, but as a collective, I think Arsenal fans have pretty much stayed with the percentage of this could mess up. We've had that doubt in the back of our minds, the whole thing. It's one of them things where we played amazing yesterday. We absolutely smashed it. Partey was pulling off mad things in midfield. Like seeing Trossard get a hat-trick of assists first half. It was just beautiful to see. I don't know what you man think, but I loved it.
Yeah, 100%. Trossard had a great performance. I think, seeing as he's already got more assists than any player in the league this season since joining for Arsenal says something. 5 assists now for Trossard. Sensational signing. Whether he would be better than Mudryk is a debate, because we look at Mudryk, £80 million Chelsea paid for him. However, looking at it, he could be a star player in the future for Chelsea, and we never know at the minute. We can't say, Trossard signing of the season or anything like that, because the season hasn't ended yet. We can't go ahead and say he was the best signing of the summer, not the summer, the winter, sorry.
But what we found out, right, is that we've made smart signings this January.
100%.
Last year. We didn't make those smart signings. We signed 2 players, Austin Trusty and Matt Turner, who weren't coming until the summer anyway. So it's not like we actually signed anyone. But this season, Mikel looked at it, and in January he's turned around and went, you know what, Jorginho can come in.
I think we signed more people in January this year because we're in a better position than we were last year.
But
this year we're in the league,
Yeah.
title contenders. Last year we were fighting for top 4, so we didn't really need any. Well, we did need people, but we
But you
didn't
look
need.
at Tottenham. They done what we done this year basically. So
Yeah.
Tottenham went out and signed players in January to confirm their top 4 spot. We didn't, and look how we bottled it.
Yeah.
We
That's
lost
probably why we
Aubameyang,
bottled it.
bottled top 4, lost Aubameyang, didn't replace him.
We weren't clinical enough. We weren't.
We didn't replace him, and that's why I lost my shit at the end of last season. But then I was also saying, you know what? I'll give him until next. Let's see what he does. He's transfer window. Let's see how he does. And to be fair, he smashed it. Honestly, I'm happy with what we've achieved so far. And if we can just get over the line with the title, then yeah, this is just a start, boys. This is just a start.
And we look at Saliba as well. I mean, coming back from loan, he was supposed to be a good signing when we signed him, in the first place, and the way he's progressed and the way he's become the player that he is today, I think is sensational. His development and everything like that has been, a step closer for us to get towards our stage minute. I think without Saliba, our team, isn't as strong as would like it to be. Last season, if we had Saliba in that team, then I'm sure we would have finished at least third or second. So he has made a massive impact in the squad. And looking at it, I think, Ben White adapting to that right back position as well. It's been a massive change for him. But however, he's adapted to it well, and he's done brilliant in that position. So I think looking at it, I think we deserve to be where we are at the moment, especially from developments from the players and everything like that. It just shows how much, how much Mikel Arteta and Edu have been doing recently. And I think it shows that we have the potential to be a great team with these two being, the main heart of the club. So I think with these two, I think we could get somewhere massive, especially, if we don't win the league this season, we'll be back next season. So it'll be a big loss if we bottle the league this season. However, I think top 4 was our priority. If we stick towards that top 4 priority and then maybe consider focusing on the league next season, I think that would be much better, because I'd rather win the Europa League this season than the Premier League at the minute, because at the moment, I think that if we look at it, I'd rather, of course, I'd love to win the Premier League. That would be great. But there's more chance of us winning the Europa League than there is the Premier League this season.
Oh, see, I don't know. I'm
not going to agree with that. And instead, I'm going to come in.
I'm not
because
agree with that
because here's the thing. Ever since Arteta came in, our Europa League record hasn't really been the best. Emery took us to the final in his first season, and our squad was absolutely awful. Czech, good keeper though he was, great keeper though he was at Chelsea. His better days were long gone, but he was still able to perform well enough to get us to the final. Our defence, Skodran Mustafi. Need I say more? And
who are our fullbacks, Manny? Who are our fullbacks?
Well, we certainly didn't have.
We certainly had Hector when he wasn't even.
I'm sorry, but I'm just going to
Monreal
here. Can I just
stop Nacho Monreal, man?
No, but listen.
David,
Mr. Shaw.
Who it is?
It sure is nice to have you here, David.
David doesn't know best.
7 up, get your 7 up.
Shush. No, I just wanted to come on and give a message, mainly for Mason, and then I'm going to shoot. But yeah, as everyone knows, Mason's going in for an op. Yeah, that's Pepsi Max, mate. So that's completely so fair. Yeah, Mason, good luck on Thursday, mate.
Cheers, lad.
And as I said, as I've been saying for the last few weeks, you're only having this operation because you've been carrying all the Arsenal fans all season. Yeah.
Not true.
I'm sure Manny will do a great job in your absence and keep everything flowing.
Of course.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Best of luck for Thursday, mate.
Cheers, mate. I'll speak to you after. Hopefully, I'll speak to you when we're still top of the league and in the quarterfinals.
Of what? Oh, yeah.
You both play.
Oh, yeah. You're only in one cup competition, aren't you? Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
Nice.
you'll only be in 2 when you get knocked out of the FA Cup.
My back, Ollie.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
Yeah, my back.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, Ollie, Flair, Manny, and Mason. Best of luck.
Mate.
best of luck, and Mason. Hope Thursday goes okay. Manny,
Cheers, mate. I'll give you a shout.
peace. See you later,
Me and
guys.
Manny are gonna smash it.
100%.
Good luck.
Full
Hey,
trust.
Fleck, you put a big target on your back now, saying that. So I
I've got what?
hope you succeed. I really do.
Drink your
Yeah,
7 Up,
guys.
David.
I'll be all right.
David, you really did sound so. You sound so upset as you're speaking there. That fucking 7-0 really hurt you, didn't it, lad?
David, you ain't in the title race now. We're 16 points above you, so you can't say.
Yeah, he's gone to watching the women play now.
Yeah.
All right,
And they can't even
guys, cease and desist. All right, bloke came here to wish our co-host well. I think we need to make sure that we give him the benefit of doubt and say no more no Man United bashing. Okay, you came in peace. We need to send you off in peace.
Yeah, I'm cool anyway. Yeah, but yeah, guys, I'm gonna shoot and Flair. I was watching back in November, and I've been watching the ladies for much longer. But yeah, guys,
he went to the. In fair to David, he does go to all the girls' games. Bless his little heart when he's in London. He does go to the girls' games.
I even went to Shite Hart Lane.
He even went to Shite Hart Lane.
No, you mean Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
No, Shite Hart Lane. I got it right first time.
Tottenham.
No, but that's not their stadium anymore. They've got a new
stadium.
Ollie, he was just making a joke. I mean, a lot of people still refer to their home ground as White Hart Lane because, you can't really escape from that. It would be nice if somebody referred to our ground as Highbury, but obviously that's not possible because Ashburton Grove is so much bigger, but it is what it is. Anyway, David, thanks a lot for coming on.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Enjoy your week.
Big up, David. Thank you, mate.
Big up.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big up, David. Doesn't know best.
We will get back on to
knock it off, Ollie. But anyway, so listen, our Europa League record hasn't really been the best, and some of us will remember. None of us will forget how things panned out in this first 2 seasons when we were in the Europa League, and of course in the third season when we were gunning for the Champions League, we didn't even have to play in Europe on Thursday, so we effectively had just 1 game a week, whether it was in the Premiership or in either of the cups. And this particular season, I'm going to be the first to admit that in as much as we've had some performances where we've looked awful and the other teams we played deserved something from our game, and we somehow managed to find a way to win, for the most part, we have played some really terrific football. And it's certainly a result of the players responding to the manager's system and doing what they needed to do. And we are good value for being top of the league, but there is some wisdom in saying that we have to be cautious and we have to be careful, not as a means of being defeatist or a doom and gloom merchant, but in saying that now is the time to take real care. And that is when the victory is in sight, because it's very easy to, see the finish line in sight and dream of the glory. But unless you focus on getting to the finish line, the other competitors might just overtake you. And so we have to be cognizant of the fact that City is still 5 points behind us, and we still have to play them at the Etihad. We've got to play Liverpool at Anfield. We've got to play Newcastle at St James's Park, and we have to play Chelsea at the Emirates, among some other games.
We'll beat them.
Nah, don't get like that.
We beat them. We beat them at Stamford Bridge.
But
listen, lads, yeah, exactly. So let me finish my train of thought. Yeah. So as well as we're doing right now, let's also recognize the fact that we've been top now for the majority of game weeks this season, and we've been playing so well. And so, if we were to have a huge slip up and suddenly lose everything, and lose the Premiership, it would be a massive disappointment.
Yeah.
And the reason why I talk about how we should try to focus on the Premiership as well, not for one moment am I suggesting that the Europa League should be a free hit, but I want to see the club try their best to do extremely well in the Europa League and also maintain the charge to win the Premiership title. Because bear in mind, we exited the cup competitions. So the Premiership and the Europa League are pretty much all we have. And we need to show that we're not just a team which provides so much flair, pun not intended, it's a happy accident. But, sorry for that, mate. But we also have the steel to make sure that we are in for the long haul. And we've shown it so far. But people remember what happens at the end of the season. Last season, everyone was praising us for the resolve that we showed to stay well ahead in the race for the top 4. We had a game in hand over Spurs, and we had the points advantage. That all dissipated, really. So we cannot. History and hope don't rhyme, but we have to learn from history. The past will always hurt, but you can either run away from it or you can learn from it. And what we need to learn is we've got to be even more vigilant. Every game has to be treated. We basically have cup finals right now. We've got to win all of them.
Agreed.
And this upcoming match against Crystal Palace, mind you, we'll see Paddy Vieira coming back to the Emirates. And although Crystal Palace aren't doing too well tactically, they're still not going to be an easy team to, break down. Remember what happened when Newcastle came to the Emirates? Joe Willock and company. They stifled us quite well.
Who do you think
Do you think Lukonga will play, or can he not play?
No,
I don't think
can't.
so, because he can't.
Right.
Because if it's a short-term loan
loan,
deal, it's crystal clear that he can't come back and play against his parent club.
Because Willock couldn't when he went to Newcastle on loan for that little period.
And now, and then after completing his transfer, he came back to the Emirates.
Are there any former Gunners at the Crystal Palace though, or not?
No. Just Vieira.
Just my
came
legend
from Senegal to play for
PV.
Arsenal.
No, he's not from Senegal. He's from France.
No, he was born in Senegal, but he plays for France.
Oh, right. Well, so why did he play for France instead of Senegal?
Because he's a bad man.
No. Look, his parents moved to France, and obviously he was brought up in that system. He was good enough to play for Les Bleus, so he opted to do that, and he won silverware with them. So let's not
imagine that, though. Imagine if.
But anyway,
went out.
but anyway, but Flair, back to your question. I want to see Arsenal win the league from this position, because it would be an absolute tragedy if, after doing so well for so long, we end up not getting it. You try so hard, you come so far. But if you finish second, in the end, does it even matter? Rest in peace, Chester Bennington.
I want us to win.
Exactly. And as for the Europa League, I want to see a much improved performance. I would definitely love to see us reach the final. We know that we are more than capable of that, but we have to prove that. And that performance against Sporting Lisbon, even with 6 first-teamers, albeit the people who came in were fairly pivotal, the likes of Turner in goal, Kirio in the centre of defence, and I think Reece Nelson got a first start. That performance on the whole was pretty poor, and the fact that we are still in the tie, thanks to an own goal, was awful. So we have to improve on that. So we are going to get back to the Fulham game, but I want to see us maintain our focus on winning the league. And if we can perform the way we did on Sunday, then we're halfway there. Because that performance... But this time we're not living on a prayer. And I will say this about the performance. It was as close to perfect as you could get. We sliced through them like a hot knife through butter. And even when they did come back into the game and nearly scored, when Tosin had that header against the bar, we contained them well enough. And Arteta got his substitution spot on. He brought on Tierney to tighten up the defense. He took Saka off and gave him a rest and brought on Reece Nelson. Every single player who came on, whether they were a starter or a substitute, did really well. If we were to do player ratings, nobody would get less than a 7. Not even Aaron Ramsdale.
Definitely. I have to say that Aaron Ramsdale, yes, he did have a few dodgy little touches throughout that, but then he pulled off an absolute classic save, which, he does do his best. And we can see that he loves winding up away like the fans in the away ground. When we go away from home, he absolutely thrives on it. And to be honest, I love watching it. But as Manny said, we've just got to take every single game by game, every single game now until the end of the season is a cup final. And these Europa League games, I'm so disappointed that the second from last game, I'm so happy that we won, obviously, yesterday against Fulham, but I'm so disappointed that the second from last game that I get to watch before I go for my operation, we play like that. It wasn't good enough. It was not good enough. I didn't enjoy it. It was not good enough. We played like, I thought we could have lost that game. We're lucky that the own goal happened, And I'm not going to blame the ref, but he was absolutely shocking. He was a coward to home stadium pressure, may I just add, throughout that match. So he
We
can
got a
get
good
lost as
question
well.
here. Do you
Yeah.
see Ramsdale being your long-term number one keeper?
Yeah.
Does look a bit
Yeah.
shaky at times, but he's a quality keeper. Yeah, 100%. You know, I think Ramsdale's got his faults sometimes, especially guarding up that near post. Shots that seem to come close to him. Especially, you know, take like a player from like Wilfried Zaha, for example, that I think we will, you know, struggle to defend against because he's such a great player. You know, he's got the pace on him. He's got good shot on him, and Elise as well. And they're more of the players that will go for goal up close. And I think Ramsdale sort of struggles with these. You know, as I said, guarding the near post, and especially when the ball goes on the other side. The other side of him, I think he does struggle there, and I think that a priority for him is to just keep his eyes on the ball at all times because he doesn't do that enough. And I think
I agree completely. And obviously, you know, when it comes to a large majority of the Arsenal fan base, they absolutely adore him. And I find it hypocritical when they are willing to completely mug off Emi Martinez for being a bit of a crap house, for want of a better word, but then they adore Ramsdale, who does the same thing. I mean, you can't have one or the other. I mean, it's sort of hypocrisy, or maybe that's part of being a fan.
Martinez has mind games. Martinez is a very, very clever goalkeeper. He has ways to distract players, especially during penalties, like when he threw the ball away from Camavinga in the final.
That was Chomeni, mate, not Camavinga.
Oh, was it not? Okay. He threw the ball away from Tuchemeni, and look what happened. He missed the penalty.
I'd say also the thing is the major difference between Emi Martinez and Aaron Ramsdale is only 23, I believe.
I wish we kept Martinez.
I also believe that as well. I do think as well that we should have kept Martinez.
But
I think the way Leno
it's good to see him doing well at Aston Villa.
Yeah, the way Leno was obviously pushed out last season. At the end of last season, we got rid of Leno. Why couldn't we do that before after the FA Cup run? But Martinez,
we should have done that. And
we should have done that. But
exactly,
Mikel clearly saw what happened, then brought in Aaron Ramsdale, made a decision. So I'm credit to Mikel. But like I say, Aaron Ramsdale's 23 years of age. Keepers don't start peaking until the late 20s, 30s. You know, they don't start.
No, agreed, but there's a school of thought here. There's a school of thought, and obviously, to answer that question from Ryan, if Arteta stays as the manager, then there is a very big chance that he could become our long-term number one. If he doesn't, and the next one comes in, the next one he comes in is going to have to look at Ramsdale very carefully and make it very clear what he wants out of him and the type of work he's got to do with his goalkeeping coach. Now, both Mason and I happen to be goalkeepers, so I think if we analyze his game, Ollie as well, good job. So if we analyze Ramsdale's game carefully, I'm not going to go too deep because time's not really in our favor. There are a lot of small mistakes and twitches that need to be worked on ASAP for him to become a really good goalkeeper. And in as much as we can say that he's actually 24, not 23. In as much as we can say that he's only 24, you know, we can't keep praising him to the skies and then use his age to defend him by saying he'll learn and improve. Let's take the example of David Seaman. When he joined Arsenal, he was 27. And he obviously came in to replace John Lukic, who was popular with us and was, of course, the goalkeeper in our 1989 triumph when, Michael Thomas scored that winner. It was he received that back pass with his hands and then threw it out to Lee Dixon. And then that whole sequence of passes later, Thomas pokes it past Grobbelaar, who dived the wrong way. And bear in mind, if the back pass rule had been implemented then, we never would have won the league. And Lukic was popular with us. But when George Graham signed David Seaman, he said, I know that John Lukic is one of the top 5 keepers in the country. I just think David Seaman is the best. And he proved that he was the best. And the thing about Seaman is that he didn't make any of these camera saves unless it was necessary. Big bloke, 6'4". He knew how to cover his angles really well, make sure his body was exceptionally big. He also had a powerful goal kick and big Yorkshireman. He knew how to really make sure his defense was, set in line. Ball short, everyone. Get in line. Any Yorkshireman in the chat, please forgive me. I know that Ryan's from West Yorkshire. I think Seaman was born in Rotherham, so it might not be too far from your neck of the woods. But he basically was all frills. I mean, he was no frills. He got the basics right, and you would never see him make the mistakes that Ramsdale is prone to making. So Ramsdale has a lot of learning to do. When we signed Seaman, he was 27. He stayed with us for the best part of 12 or 13 years. Became England's number one outright, 175.
He said till he's 39.
Yes, he was captain when we won the 2003 FA Cup against Southampton, and then he moved on to Manchester City, where
and
he
also
played half the season.
Seaman
Was he in the
is also
Invincibles
part of our coaching staff. Well, he's not actually officially part of the goalkeeping and coaching staff, but he does go in and help Aaron Ramsdale. I listened to him on a podcast. He does.
Yeah. So
Seaman says.
So we will go back to Fulham. I'm sorry
we
about
need
this,
to go
Blair,
back.
but we will. I promise you. But there are a lot of issues with Aaron Ramsdale's goalkeeping that I can see, and I'm sure Mason and Ollie can see, and he does need to improve on them and make sure that he does that. Otherwise, it's very difficult to see him displacing Jordan Pickford as England's number one. And a lot of clubs are going to try to look at him and target him a great deal. So he will need to improve. If he does improve and does a lot better, then yes, he could be our long-term number one. He certainly did make a few good saves, but looked dodgy against Fulham. But Leno, despite making some world-class saves, was even dodgier, and we were right to sell him.
Indeed. Amen to that.
Yeah, so we will get back on to talk about Fulham now. We will go and rotate around. We'll start with Ollie first because he hasn't really had much time to speak today, so we'll start with Ollie.
Yeah, obviously, good win for us. As you said, MNK, it could have been more 4-5. Obviously, the first goal disallowed. It probably was offside. I think it was just inches though. The own goal, but and then Trossard, man, definitely the man of the match. Some people could disagree. I heard someone say Gabriel could be the man of the match. Yeah, fair enough. He did get the goal and obviously a clean sheet as well. But Trossard, he got 3 assists, so you can't really get better than that unless it was 3 goals. But no, Gabriel, the first goal, great cross. And then Martinelli with another header. And then Odegaard just getting the goal before off time. The second half was a bit quiet. Fulham did get a few chances. Good save from Ramsdale. They obviously hit the bar as well. But we held it on and obviously got the clean sheet as well. So we've got, I think it's something like 5 clean sheets in against our rivals or something. Like no other team's done that.
Away games against London sides.
Teams, obviously, 2-0 against Tottenham, 3-0 against Brentford, 2-0 against Crystal Palace, and then obviously this, and then what other game was it?
Chelsea.
Chelsea 1-0, yeah. But no, good win, obviously. Definitely man of the match, Trossard, but good performances from Martinelli, Gabriel, and obviously the elephant in the room. Good to see Gabriel Jesus back on the back of my shirt for a reason. Great player, and it's good to have him back. I think any FBL players, it's time to get him back in the team. I'm using my free hit, and he's definitely going to get into my team. And it'll be good to have him back as an asset. He used to be, he used to be the most owned player percentage, but now obviously it's Haaland now. But I'm sure he'll go back up to that once Haaland gets transferred out. But no, it's good to have him back. Good to get a clean sheet as well. I would possibly like to see Kiwa start a Premier League game one day. Probably the Crystal Palace game. I don't see why not. We can afford to.
He looks shaky in the Europa League. I mean, we need to look at it and we need to keep him in the Europa League competition.
Yeah,
at the minute it's too early to say. At the moment,
we can't.
We could rotate a few players against Crystal Palace, maybe.
I think Gabriel Saliba. We need Gabriel Saliba, Ben White, and Zinchenko all in that back four.
If we start Kiwior this season in the Premier League, we are going to slip. Like that is just a big
But unless it's someone like Southampton or something, or
because they're fighting for their lives, Ollie. This is the thing. At this point of the season, now we're getting into nitty gritty. Every lower side who are fighting for survival, and let's say this, it is very competitive down that side of the table as well. And the only thing is, teams will come to look to defend against us anyway, or really sit back and low block, So it's hard to break down teams. As Manchester United saw against Southampton, they couldn't break them down, as we saw against Newcastle. Even though they're a little bit higher, obviously, but they're hard to break down. Now you get into the nitty gritty. These teams are going to want to come and just sit. That's what Palace will want to do: low block, sit, counter attack us with Eze and Zaha. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Ryan says there's no easy game in the Prem, that's for sure, and I 100%
100%.
agree with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will go back to talk about Fulham now.
Yeah.
You know, as Ollie said, we had a good performance. I was very, very happy with how we played. I think the first half for us was our strongest, but in the
Yeah.
second half, as always, we do begin to tire out. We begin to, give away these chances. And I think in every game in the first half of the season, we've seemed to be the dominant team. But then the second half, maybe our stamina starts to drop and stuff like that. And we start conceding chance after chance after chance until eventually we drop out on a clean sheet. But we did well against Fulham to try and stop that. And but they did have some very close chances. And I think conceding goals, as Gary Neville says, is going to be one massive thing. If Arsenal want to win the league this season, they've got to stop conceding goals. And I hate Gary Neville with a passion, but that statement from him was a W because I agree with him totally. None of this, say we played against Man United, we won 3-1. We can't be having that. Like, if we're dominant in a game, we need to be dominant at all areas in the pitch, and that includes the defence as well. And just because we've attacked well doesn't mean we just give up in the last 20 minutes of the game. So I think looking at it, we need to be more consistent defensively, because we have good games and bad games. Against Fulham, it was a decent game, but I wouldn't say it was our best defensively. But our attack this season has been sensational, and I think looking at it, we definitely did have a good game against Fulham. But as I said, second half we slip, and then that's it. But substitutions for me, I think the substitutions Mikel Arteta made were positive, but however, whether if they made an impact, wasn't. Fabio Vieira came on, he made a good performance, but however, Jesus coming on, it was good to see him back. Good to see Jesus back on the pitch. He always does. He always needs that game time, to get back to his sharpness, and to get back onto being a top player again. So to get his place back in the squad as well, he's going to need to be coming off the bench, proving that he is the man for the job and that he can be our number 9 this season, instead of Leandro Trossard, who's put up a fair bit of competition for him. But we can't go and say Trossard starts over Jesus instantly at the minute, because we need to see if Jesus finds his form back off the bench. And if he does, then I'm sure he can find a place over Trossard. Because Trossard, I think his form will last a fair bit of time, but I think he will slip eventually. And
I think also bringing him on
role
the bench as well, mate, would be a good impact as well when Trossard comes on from the bench. He seems to light up the place like he did against Fulham. Obviously, he was starting. I think using that false 9, we're in this sort of position where Eddie, I don't think, was on the bench at the weekend either. So I think Eddie's now out with an injury. So we've had to use Trossard in that false 9, And I want to just mention this. I know Fulham didn't play too great. They didn't play bad, but they didn't play too great against us. I think we were more of the outstanding side. We dominated the game, but they weren't that great anyway. It was dead. It was pretty dead for their point of view. But I will say this: Willian, man like Willian, Chelsea agent Willian, didn't show up. He had a back problem, guys. We know about his back problems, didn't we?
Yeah, and also, have you guys seen the interview?
No.
Which one?
He said he never wished he joined Arsenal, wish he stayed at Chelsea for the rest of his career, and he wished he never joined Arsenal ever.
What about Fulham?
He has no respect for the club, he said.
You know what? He didn't show up. You know why? Because he knew we were going to put them.
He can shove off. That's why none of us care, Aubameyang, he actually put, his effort into the club.
I respect Aubameyang.
He became a respectable player at Arsenal, but Willian, he didn't, and because he didn't show up, that was it. And he could have been a good player for Arsenal if he had
took
shown
the money
up.
and ran. He took the money and ran.
So because he chose to go on that path of being a lazy player and not playing for the shirt and putting all of his passionate love into Chelsea, he hasn't performed, and that's exactly the same as what happened with Aubameyang. Aubameyang has signed up for Chelsea. He's still got all of his love for Arsenal inside of him. He's been shit for Chelsea this season, and that's going to keep continuing to happen. Jorginho, however, we can make an exception because he has supported Arsenal since he was a kid and stuff like that. But I think Aubameyang this season, since joining Chelsea, hasn't been fantastic. You know, he's got a goal or two. That's great for him. But Willian, however, you know, for Fulham, he's been good this season. But I think because of the rivalry between Arsenal and Chelsea, I think Willian was not a good signing at all. And he shouldn't have been playing in an Arsenal shirt.
I think that's the one thing I will say about Edu. I was disappointed on when we signed William because you can see it was that whole Brazilian thing, and he just wasn't the right type.
Even
and to
for
be
free.
honest, I'm glad that he left. And to be honest, William, shame you couldn't play because I would have loved to see our defenders raft you up. Honestly, I would have loved it. I'd love to see Ben White be kicking you, battering you, Saliba be tossing you around, bruh. Oh, it would have been good, but no.
Yeah, but obviously we will head on to Manny now. What are your thoughts on the game? You're on mute, Manny.
Yeah, I already made clear my thoughts on the game when I was talking earlier, and I really don't have much more to add. And yeah, I will just say one more thing. How many of you thought that it was really bizarre seeing Sir Michael Philip Jagger in the stands that day?
Oh,
yeah. He was an Arsenal fan.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, Dartford's finest. I grew up in Dartford. I actually was supposed to go to Dartford Grammar where he and Keith had studied, but that was when I had to move overseas with my family. It is what it is. But I will say this, unlike that fella, I can get my satisfaction very easily. And hopefully he was satisfied with that performance.
He looked very happy. Every time he come on Sky Sports, he looked very, very happy. And I think that was his son or his grandson, I don't know who.
Yeah,
But
his son.
Yeah, his son. So obviously I hope he had a lovely time as well. Big up.
Yeah. Ollie, you've said. Mason, have you said?
Yeah, I went through mine, mate. Yeah, man. I just want to.
So, I think for me as well, one thing that I would also like to add about Fulham is defensively. You know, we saw the Gabriel Martinelli header into the back of the net, and it was quite an easy, simple goal to be honest, because the defenders they went to beddy buys, didn't they? So, I think seeing them go to sleep like that, I think that was atrocious defending by Fulham. They could be better. You know, Fulham are the defensive side. They are good at defending, and they are still a solid side. You know, we couldn't have ruled them out. And I think Fulham, they just didn't show up on the day, and they can be a consistent team at times, but then they have these days when they're inconsistent, and it was one of them days. And I think we played too well for them, and we ended up absolutely smashing them in the first half. So, we outplayed
Arsenal.
We outplayed them from at least the first minute to about the 60th.
We held the game out. We were 3-0 up. We were on cruise control in many ways in that second half. I think Mikel, I wish we weren't on cruise control. I wanted more goals just to lower that goal difference, not to take the piss out of Fulham or nothing. It's just nothing personal. Like, it just has to be done. We want to shorten that goal difference between us and Man City because at the end of the day, boys, that is what it could come down to. It could literally come down to goal difference.
Ryan said in the comments, Mitrovic was very quiet. Yeah, but we defensively we did well to keep him quiet, and he still did look he did look good. You know, he still did look like a good player when he played against us. He did have a. He had.
I think if I could say something, I think he struggled really with a lack of service because Fulham's passing was all over the place, really. I believe Pereira was supposed to be the person who would, drive the midfield forward. He and De Cordova-Reid. But if you look at their passing, I mean, it was just basically hoof forward, and the person to whom it would be intended would have to backtrack just to receive that. And Pereira simply wasn't able to find his range. So they looked a lot quite disjointed. And, I think the manner in which we slice through them, as I said, like a hot knife through butter. I think it really, knocked them for a loop, and they didn't really know how to play. At least in the second half, they went back to basics and threw the kitchen sink at us, but we weathered the storm.
Yeah, 100%. So obviously we are going to wrap up now, but I would like to say, obviously, Mason, wish you very best.
Thank you
for your operation, mate, and as I said earlier, me and Manny will be continuing doing streams. I think Wednesday. I think, but we'll talk about it after. But I think Wednesday is what I've got in plan.
Yeah,
at
I
the
just
minute.
want to say cheers, guys,
After
for all the
every stream.
messages and that on Instagram and that. And I've got full confidence in Manny and Flair to take it over and keep smashing it with content, you know. But I will be back. Tottenham fans, Chelsea fans, United fans, Liverpool fans, even some City fans. Don't panic yourself. I will be back, ready to give it all again to you lot. Trust me.
Just like Arnold Schwarzenegger at his finest, nothing can keep him down.
Exactly that. I'll be back.
Yeah, so we will shout out socials now, but obviously, as I said, we will wish Mason the best, and we do hope it goes very well for him.
Thank you very much.
Me and Manny will be taking over, so obviously don't expect anything less from us here, because me and Manny will smash it and do a great job.
I'll be in my hospital bed.
Manny, shout out your socials.
Instagram. You can catch me at Manny Thangadurai 1981, which is my full name and my year of birth. If you want to find me on Twitter, having some at times rowdy debates with some rude Arteta in fans.
I've been posting a lot more on there recently, and I keep seeing you popping up on my page.
Yeah, mate, listen, when it comes to dealing with some of these guys, they can be exceptionally rude, effing and blinding everywhere. Most of them, quite frankly, are bots who hardly have any followers anyway. So I just drop the mic on them, block them, and they're out of my life. Troglodytes, all of them. So if you want to catch me there, Stangatherai 1981. Big up to AFC Talk Show TV. Flair and MK done a wonderful job with the channel, and I feel proud to continue that tradition. I will certainly do my very best to uphold it. I'm not going to shirk my responsibility. I'm proud to be taking it. And big up as well to Del Boy Gunner TV, S. Featley TV, Oris Talks Football, Coach's Corner, Tony Claude Gunner TV, Danny AFC TV, up the cherries in all departments, the Born the Fan channel. Well done to them on their win at Liverpool against Liverpool, and I'm hoping as well that they are able to fight and stay up, because they certainly have got a terrific spirit in the team, and that channel as well is run by some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Bailey Francis as well, just sort of a newcomer. I've done a great deal, many streams with that fella, and it's been good fun. And there are more than a few channels right now, which I can't really, think of at the moment, but I'll send them a check in the post. But I love coming on YouTube to talk football with some like-minded people. It's all about leaving our club rivalries at the door and having some respect for one another. No cursing or effing or blinding. We need to make sure that we respect one another despite our rivalries.
Only occasionally.
Yeah. But anyway, but football is just a game at the moment. We need to learn to treat each other better. And I'm not just saying this because my brother-in-law's a Tottenham supporter. And yeah,
oh God.
So in the end, let's treat each other better. Life's too short to have any major disputes. Let's all learn to get along, as a wise man once said. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the upcoming football. Don't do anything that the four of us wouldn't do. And for now, I am out, and I will see you all again soon.
Big up.
We've got Ollie next. Shout out your socials.
Yeah, big up, guys. So you can catch me on a few channels, obviously here, AFC Talk Show. Thanks for having me, lads. Big up MK as well. I hope the operation goes well. Big up Flair, of course, Manny for joining as well. You can also catch me recently. I've joined Huddersfield Town Fan TV. I did a predictions with them. You can also find me on Coach's Corner. I did host a show the other day. I did championship predictions, and Bailey joined me for that. Also Bailey Francis, you can catch me there as well. Of course, the Rest Talks Football as well, and a few other channels. Sorry if I haven't mentioned you. But if you want to find me on my channel, it is DJ Sinclairo. That's DJ space SINCLAIRO, all capitals. Yeah, I've got a stream on Wednesday, Europa League preview. I did a vote on my YouTube whether Premier League review or Europa League preview, and it was the Europa League preview. So I'll be reviewing the Arsenal Man United games, and then from the Premier League, and previewing their games in Europa League. And also catch my Joel Corey videos. I saw him last Friday, and I put some videos of that. That was a great night, honestly. Good, great to see him. First gig of the year as well. And make sure you watch about my videos in public, watch hours, and like some of my videos. and also back to you if you sub to me as well. Apart from YouTube, you can find me Ollie.Sinclair556 on Instagram. On the road to 700 subscribers. We hit 600 quite recently, a few weeks ago. So let's try and get 700 soon. Obviously, the big aim is 1K. And then on Aaron's Grand fan page 1, which is my other fan, which is my fan page, just hit 400 followers, on the road to 500 now. Apart from that, TikTok, just uploaded a new TikTok, Ollie's Epic 556. And apart from that, big up everyone having me on, and yeah. And if you want any other socials, go DM my personal account. But yeah, big up guys, and see you soon.
Sorry
You
about
caught me so off guard then, bro.
That was a total accident. I just had my cursor hovered over the solo layout button and accidentally
Obviously, you can catch me on my Instagram, mkthedon14, and of course, I'll be back on AFC Talk Show TV real soon, people. Thank you for all the lovely messages. I will go live on Instagram tomorrow as a sort of a last little live. Hopefully, I won't get music copyrighted like today. But yeah, thank you all for coming. Flair, man, shout out your stuff as well, bro.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, AFC Flair. We've also started up a TikTok as well, AFC Talk Show TV, if you want to go check that out. We've been doing quite well on there recently as well. Just coming up to 300 followers on there. With our recent video getting about 12k likes. So obviously big up everyone for the support. We really do appreciate it. And as I said, wish Mason the best for his operation. So yeah, honestly, I'm flabbergasted with the amount of achievements that we've got since starting up the show, and we look to continue it. So catch us here some point this week
at the end of the day, lads, thank you all for your continuous support for us. Like, we just started this up last year in December. It was nearly Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah,
we started this, and then it's just continued to grow since then. Hopefully we will continue to smash it, people. Honestly, we'll continue to bring content to your screens. I'm also going to be doing some live streams when I'm back, watch alongs and that, so be tuned for that. The 3 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah, because he has access to all the game.
I'll be able to stream for you. So big up, everyone. Thank you for all the support again. Make sure you like, subscribe, and
so obviously thank you everyone. And as Manny says, don't do anything we wouldn't do, and we will catch you next time here on AFC Talk Show TV. Thank you everyone.
Big up, big up.
Right, I forgot to end the broadcast.
End the light.